What's up?
Hi, 你是什么 Hello.
Alright, so today is what day? What's today?
Today is the 5th.
Yep.
January 5th, 2020.
Alright, and
It's a
then,
new year.
Yep, we got all the brothers-in-law,
What?
husbands.
Husband.
So Zhang is brother-in-laws.
My brother-in-laws, my two sisters. First podcast ever. We're gonna discuss about Hmong culture or things that are happening in the Hmong.
What you care about that?
Oh, I
You're swinging.
Alright, guys. So what's up? What are we talking about today?
Alright, the topic today we want to talk about is depression in the Hmong community and how that affects the Hmong community.
Like, what kind of depression? What kind of depression that do you guys think that affects the Hmong community? Are you talking about depression of how Hmong men depress women, or how women can depress men too?
We're talking about all of these things, man. We're talking about how what you just said.
Okay.
Tell me, dude, did you have? Hey, dude, I know you got something, man.
You should have
Because I told you to be quiet about it.
write
first.
down questions.
Oh yeah, sure.
That way you can ask them.
It's alright.
It's okay.
okay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been open conversation.
Yeah, alright.
Open
Right
conversation.
now, right now it's an open conversation.
But that's
Don't
for
worry
like
about
future
it.
sake.
Right.
Yep.
Future.
We have no plans. But anyways, depression in the Hmong community. I feel like number one, we already know that Asian cultures, Hmong culture they don't really
They don't recognize.
acknowledge mental
Yeah.
illness. I think that the way Hmong culture is, it really perpetuates depression, because if you look at all of our songs, it's also Kashia. You
Yeah,
look at
right.
all these stories, it's got a Kashia meaning to them, and like you look at all the elders, they're always like, "Ooh, okay, Kashia only, huh?"
Yeah, that's fucking funny, but I don't want to fucking talk about it. So.
And then, I'm like, I don't know. You look at how our parents raise us, and like a lot of parents. I don't know if this is all parents, but it just seems like we're never good enough for our parents' generation, because they want us to do this, to do that. They have this American dream for us, but
Okay. It seems. I feel like it's not an American dream. It's a Hmong dream. It's like have a lot of kids, and then the kids will help the parents. They don't want the kids to move out and do their own thing. Because that's the American dream. It's moving up, growing up, moving out, getting a good job, making a lot of money.
Yeah, I feel like they should probably modernize themselves, because we're not like we say we're not living in the old days anymore, but they still bring it up. Like yo, what are you talking about? We still living in the old days, but like
I feel like
they don't understand that we're living in the new day now.
Yeah, and I feel that we're lucky though, because we have the family around us that are understanding, and
Right.
they understand that it's not like how it was in the old days anymore.
well, you can't even say that, because they still have values, and tradition that they run from the old days that they do, and like that's like ingrained in them. So you can't just erase the beliefs and the values of the generation above
Yeah,
us.
but then they also understand us too, because
maybe-
you were talking to your grandpa, and then your grandpa understands that we are living here in
Maybe
America,
not
different now.
here, but like maybe in Thailand they should modernize themselves. over
Well,
there.
we don't even know what happens in Thailand.
Right.
Oh, their culture there is pretty.
Yeah, it's different.
Evolving too. Like we don't know.
You've been to Thailand,
Yeah, yeah.
Harley.
Like you guys went there, you had that. They speak like
Thai.
Thai Hmong, like how we speak Monglish.
Because Thai is kind of like
A
English.
lot of them,
They're-
compared to here, they don't even like know Hmong. Like they know like a couple words, but then like they don't really speak it to us, or they feel more comfortable speaking Thai.
I
and
guess
so they
it's just
speak
kind of like
Thai.
how we're
it's-
comfortable speaking more English.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Yes.
A lot of their Hmong is more broken than ours, though.
Okay.
Unless they grew up in the village. But the ones that
Yeah,
actually went to a Thai school,
Yeah,
they are the
university.
ones that like pretty much lost almost all of their Hmong.
Yeah,
When
I
we were
feel like
speaking to them in
we're-
Hmong, their Hmong was a lot more broken than ours
Yeah, I
were.
feel like it was worse than here, and yeah, they struggled more.
And I guess it has a lot to do with the Thai government and their regulations and their law, because I know that if the Hmong people want to go to school, they have to change their name to a Thai name. And then they can't speak Hmong in school either, or else they get discriminated against. and so I know that has a big factor in it.
That's funny because in America it's not like that. Well, I mean, it kind of is, but we don't give a fuck. We have a like, don't give a fuck attitude.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We don't care too much, but I mean, like Mika people think some Mika people think our Asian names are pretty cool. You know, they're always asking the meanings behind our names. But then that's just like.
Don't even tell them. They don't
Yeah, I
even
know.
It's not their business. Anyways,
Yeah, we're getting a little off.
Anyways.
off
Yeah, the
topic.
depression.
going back to whatever.
Depression
But
in our Hmong society.
no, but like, sure, like what you said, it's not the American dream, but it is the American dream, because the American dream is you come here, work, start from the bottom, get to the top. You know, you come here with nothing, you immigrate here, and it's the land of opportunity. That's the American dream, to move here, have all this opportunity that you never had in your homeland. And that's kind of what our parents dream for us, you know, because they come here, they want us to go to school, they want us to be doctors, they want us to have money, they want us to do all these things that they never had. That's the American dream. But then they have these Hmong values and customs that they push on us, these expectations, and like, you know, and then
No.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
go on.
Oh, well, yeah. They have expectations, but yeah.
Yeah,
like,
because
their expectations really high, but I understand, but like they should try to understand. Like sometimes we can't sorry we can't reach your expectations, like, but we're still good kids, you know. We're still here to help you guys.
shit, I think we do fucking drugs and shit.
But
Yeah.
like,
that's
clubs.
why Hmong culture perpetuates depression. What do you think? Don't you, huh? This episode's done.
What? You shouldn't hear.
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, just sound like the glass go open. But anyways,
No, because for me, okay, I kind of had a little bit of depression because, you know, mom and dad, our parents, they were instilling on us to go get a doctor's degree, go and get a college degree.
Right.
And I don't know what the fuck I wanted to do in college, but then I just went at it, and, you know, I got
FYI,
depressed because I
FYI,
didn't
we
know.
shouldn't be using the word depressed and addressing depression like that. Like, you were clinically whatever, you know, you were just experiencing anxiety, whatever, you know, like when you talk about that kind of stuff, you gotta be educated. You can't just be like, yeah, I was depressed here, depressed there. Like, you're just throwing that word out, like, whatever.
Okay,
but it's
fine.
not,
I guess I
like-
was sad, and I was just sad. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, what the fuck? And then I just kind of went with the flow, and I didn't really think about it. And then I graduated, and I got more sad because I was like, well, shit, I don't know what the fuck to do. And then mom and dad kept pressuring me, but then I was scared to talk to them too because of such a high expectation.
I think.
Then, like,
Yeah.
you even look at, like, your mom. Like, she's
Fucking depressed.
got all this going for her, but she's still, like, so negative. Then, like, her negative perspective, she pushes it on you guys. So then, like, you guys have this negative outlook on yourself. You guys have self-esteem issues. Like, you don't think you're good enough or whatever because of the projection they have on you guys. So then it just perpetuates the negativity, etc. So then, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. It's how they raise.
then you just think you're not good enough, and then
Right. Because I feel like maybe Hmong parents should, like, you know, stop telling their kids like they're a piece of shit and they can't like do anything, because that really like demoralize them inside, because, like, you know, later they're gonna grow up like, oh shit, you know, and remember like, oh, I can't do it because, you know, my mom said I can't do it, so, you know, maybe I can't do it.
Yeah, I
And
know,
that's
a
probably
lot of-
what's stopping them from reaching their goals.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I feel like a lot of Hmong parents are like that, where, in a way, like they care about us, they love us, but then it's just kind of like the way they teach us, right? So like a lot of Hmong parents, or at least I know with mom, I feel like she thinks that if she, as you say, demoralize us or start like trying to push us down, saying, oh, you're not good at this and that, she thinks that that'll help us, because they think that, oh, if I say these things, it'll motivate them to work harder and do better. So they're kind of like, they're kind of like teaching in that kind of way, which is, I feel like, a way that they used to learn. But then with the kids nowadays, it's not like that. It's very different. And that's something I feel like they don't understand. Because, I mean, I tried telling my mom, but she don't understand what I'm trying to tell her. I was like, I don't like it when you call me, you know, like, stupid. Like, you tell me that all the time, and that affects me. She's just like, oh, you know, I'm not really trying to say, like, you're stupid. And I'm like, okay, if you don't really mean that, then you don't need to say it like that, or you don't even need to say it. But they don't understand those kind of things like affect us, because you know it doesn't affect them because they don't think of it like that. But that's just how they grew up. That's how they were taught, and they're using those same values for us. But you know, we're different. They were born here. Things are different here, and so I feel like they should kind of adjust their thinking. And their
also,
teaching.
yeah, they have a lot more experience than us, so like they can't really be saying that like, oh, you know, I did this and that. Like, why can't you do it? Like, yo, I don't have experience. Like, chill.
What do you
Well,
mean
even-
by that? Because
even-
they're saying that so that
I don't know.
they save you
they're comparing-
from not learning.
Right.
Like I think what you're trying to say is that they compare us to them when they were our age. Because you
Right.
know when they came here, they were in their 20s. They do all this and they go do all this themselves. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? When I was your age, I already did this, I already did that, I already did this.
Right.
But they don't understand that, one, they're the ones raising us. And then two, they're the ones not letting us do this and that.
Right.
You know?
And three, we're not living back over there
Yeah.
where we had to do all that shit. Like, damn, like, yo,
Did you run
sorry.
into the dog situation?
Like, damn, sorry. Shit.
You know when we took the dogs out and the old lady just like got mad?
Oh, yeah. But, yeah.
You know what they just need to do is let us live our own life. But because they don't want us to live our own life, that is what caused depression.
Yes. What do you think, Peter?
Well, you know, I just been listening because, you know, a lot of this stuff is I see it too. But I think another thing that we should all consider too is that a lot of them, you know, when they came to the U.S., a lot of the males in the Hmong families all died in the war. And so, like, for example, for my family, for sure, my dad came to America. He was about like 17, I think, and he grew up, and his dad, my grandpa, was injured from the war, and so he was bedridden basically the whole entire time. And then by the time I was like 8 years old, you know, he passed away. He didn't really have a chance to teach my dad anything or teach me anything, and so my dad didn't really know what to teach me. So me growing up, I was basically like, I would say, forgotten, because my dad didn't teach me anything, didn't take me anywhere, didn't talk to me much, and my mom was, you know, doing her thing, and she was too busy with my older sisters and everything. And so now when like I talk to them about everything, they're kind of like, you know, my dad even told me straight up, I was like, you know, Dad, why didn't you teach me how to do this? How come you couldn't teach me this and this and this? And like, every time I ask you, you just say you don't know just because we do it. And my dad was just, you know, he kind of broke down, and he was just like, you know, because when I was living here, I didn't have anybody to teach me, so I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to teach you either. And so I think that's one thing too, is that sometimes you got to consider is a lot of our parents, they didn't learn how to teach us, and so they only know based off what their parents taught them back in Thailand and Laos. And a lot of that is just yelling and, you know, lecturing and just repetitiveness. Whereas nowadays, if they had proper education, or they went to school and learned how to, you know, educate their kids or the younger generation, then they would probably know how to communicate better and how to, you know, be more accepting of everybody. And I think that's a big factor too that plays a part.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what Ollie's saying. Like, they try to push what they learn onto us, and like when they're yelling at us and lecturing us, they're always like, and all that stuff, you know, like, just like, come on, whatever, stuff like that. And it's just like, no, you don't gotta do that. But
Yeah, they didn't learn the you know, they didn't learn that you don't have to do that anymore.
yeah,
They didn't, so.
and it also goes back to domestic violence, you know, like when women try to leave these, this is what I see, but when women try to leave their husbands, you know, they gotta go to the uncles of like his brothers, you know, and talk about it with his family, and they're already biased, they're on his side, so they're gonna be like, oh yeah, she's just selling the law.
Yeah, and that does add to, you know, the potential for her getting depression, because she has nobody to reach out to, no help at all.
Yeah.
I think Hmong men should put themselves in the women's situation too. Like if the Hmong women wanted to like marry maybe a second husband that's younger, like how would they feel too? Like, would they probably want to leave too? Like, if if women were stronger in the relationship in our Hmong culture, like, you know, they probably would talk to their uncle or something, like, oh, yo, son, just stay, yo.
Yeah, but
It's
Hmong
gonna be
men,
alright.
even American men too, they
Right.
already been instilled that men are the one with the power. They're
Right.
women's are the one that are
But, yeah,
weak.
but I'm just saying, like, what if, like, they got put, Hmong men got put themselves in the women's situation.
Well, you know
what
what?
if
If
the
they did-
women's situation? What if the women had more power than the men? Like, they would be depressed as fuck too. You
Well,
know?
you know what? If they did, they would just come to understand and be happy, like our relationship here.
I think men have like a whole more complicated masculinity issue, but like with Hmong women, you basically just rip out their foundation and their support system, because if like once you marry, you leave your family, your husband's family, and all that stuff. And like, you know, I look at my aunts and my mom and them. How often do they see their mom and dad versus how often do they see my dad's side? How often did I see my Netai and my Dalo and all that stuff compared to my uncles and cousins on my dad's side? It's more patriarchal like that, you know? Like I don't know, if I just feel like growing up, because they take the daughters away, you are more close with your
The
dad's side. That's just how I see it, though, from my experience. I don't know about you guys, but
I mean, even now, I still come over to my parents' side. I mean, I'm fortunate enough where
I think
I live with, like, where we can visit your parents and we can also visit my parents because they live close to each other.
you are lucky because Tommy's side of the family is modern, and Peter, your side of the family is modern
And
too.
our
So
family is
yes,
starting
our family
to
is
get
modern,
too.
so
Yeah, we
it's
do.
okay. So like, you guys come visit too. It's not like the non-modern people who are like, why are you going over there? You don't need to go over
Yeah,
there.
so
Just
I don't
stay.
feel
Put
I
your
don't feel
name on it,
comfortable
yeah.
speaking on behalf of the other people
Right.
that are experiencing
It's
a different
different.
situation where it's so common for the woman to leave their family, and it's upon them to that they should not talk to the parents, like go to their side and talk to them, or if they're having trouble, they should not go and talk to their parents about it. Yeah, but so I don't want to speak on behalf of them. I don't even know, or don't, like, I never experienced that.
but think about like your cousin's soon to be wife. No names here, but you know, she came from cross country. How far
yeah.
she is from her family, you know, her support system. So like, your first couple years of being in Ya is gonna be the hardest because you're adjusting to a new family, adjusting to their ways and all that stuff.
You know, everybody
So-
says it takes 2 years for the newlyweds, the wife, to be comfortable in the husband's side of the family. And I can agree with that. I keep saying 2 years, and I feel like it's true.
Yeah. Damn, it's pretty hard too. I mean, I feel like Hmong men should be more lenient on letting their women go see their family. Because I know some modern Hmong guys that are married, they're not really that lenient into letting their girlfriends see their side of the family, like their mom and dad. Like, sometimes they're just like, yo, why you going? Like, you don't need to go. You got your whole family here too. Like, but then like they gotta think about it too. Like, yo, they got another family too. You're like, you're not the only family that they have. They have a second family too, like the real family. So I think some modern Hmong men should be more lenient too. Yeah. Also, depression. You know, it's not all just women. It's men too. You know, like, so sometimes Hmong men don't meet expectations for women too. You know, and that could depress them too.
But that's just toxic masculinity. Like,
Yeah.
why you gotta prove your masculinity? It don't
Right.
matter.
True,
Like,
yeah.
that's what I think. Like,
Yeah, but isn't that then the cause of depression then?
well,
The toxic masculinity?
Yeah, I guess
Because, you know,
so,
there's so
yeah.
many factors that cause depression. That could be one of them.
Yeah, a lot of factors. You know, like sometimes, you know,
Yeah, Zara, are you depressed? Or
I'm not depressed.
sad?
My relationship is going pretty good. Who knows? We'll see what happens when I get married.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, like it's not just women, it's men too. Cause like, you know, like, you know what happened to mom and dad. You know, dad's kind of I guess because dad is depressed too because like dad sees mom as kind of like a child and he has to do everything. But yeah, would you guys call that depression? Because he like
I don't know because you know what?
but I wouldn't call it
Let's
depression.
look at Google.
I wouldn't call it
because-
depression.
'cause
I would
know-
just say he is just stressed.
I'm gonna look at what depression is on Google because I just feel like you think that we should not throw the word around. So maybe we should define what it is.
We are defining depression.
Yeah, because
So-
you're always like you're just like don't throw that word around.
Well, I'm just saying, like, how are you gonna say, oh my God, yeah, like I did this and this and I'm so depressed, but you're depressed for like you're in a funk, you're just at a low, you know, but you can't say that you're depressed compared to people who are actually suffering from actual clinical depression.
Like
who
long-term
Okay.
depression.
So here's the definition of clinical depression according to Google. A mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or loss of interest in activities causing significant impairment in daily life.
And the word there is persistent, you know? How are you going to say you were feeling depressed if you were just down for like a month or a couple weeks because something happened? That's not depression. Depression is a persistent state of being, I don't know,
Consistent, huh?
Yeah.
It's like a everyday thing.
So like again,
about.
like I said, I don't know. Like I said, your mom, she's always so negative. She has like this really bad outlook on her life, herself, and she projects it on her kids, and she's always saying like, oh, if only this, if only that, but she's not.
You know, after I saw Natai come and visit, I could tell that I felt like our mom was feeding or getting it from the Natai too. Because when they have a conversation together, it's not even happy.
It's depressed.
It's all sad.
Natai is
talk.
depressed. I talked to her once, and she was telling me about her whole life, about how she was raised up, and then like her mom and dad didn't love her, and then when she was hungry, they were always.
Your mom said that to you?
Oh no,
Natai said
Yeah.
that?
Natai said that to me. Like when she was hungry, she would ask her mom and dad like, "Oh, I'm hungry," and then they would just be like, "Go make your own food," and then they would eat the leftover food, and wouldn't save anything for her. And then at a young age, she got taken away, just like that.
Because they married, right?
Yeah,
She got married?
Yeah, because of Hmong culture. And then she just got married to an older guy than her, and she never got to live her life as a young adult or a young kid, her young life. So she just grew up, working, being the nya, doing all that good stuff, all that stuff.
Yeah, and then mom too. Mom's just like, oh yeah, Natai doesn't love me enough.
Yeah.
She loves the sons more, and
Like-
the son is gonna take care of her.
It's all good if I don't love you. Like we love you. Shit.
Nah, man,
probably not even
she
the truth, right?
Yeah, she's
It's
probably
not
just
the
saying that because she's just a negative person.
See?
It's probably not even that.
She's
But isn't
kind
it-
of over dramatic sometimes.
But you see how like it started off in Natai, and it fed down to your mom. She has the same experience. She's
It's a
saying,
trend. We got kill this
Hereditary.
trend, guys.
I feel
It's
fine.
hereditary.
I don't think it'd be hereditary, but more like
I'm just kidding. I was thinking scary movie.
when you experience it, if you're taught that that's the only way that it should be, or that's the only way you've learned it, then when you have kids, you teach them that way because that's what your parents taught you. So like cases with beating kids, you beat your kids because your parents beat you when you were a kid, and
You're trying to release all that anger.
but
and so with like being negative and being negative all the time, when you're raising your kids, if you're always negative on them, it impacts them a lot too, and they start to do that same thing too when they get older.
I think raising the kids, we should cut off that depression and don't let that affect us how we raise our kids.
okay,
it's not even like
hold on.
we're raising them intentionally.
no.
Like it's like we don't realize that. Like we always say, "Oh no, I'm not gonna be like my dad. I'm not gonna be like my mom." We see the bad stuff they do that to us, but then. And we try to intentionally stop that. But I talk to a lot of older people, and they always say to me, the older I get, like as much as I don't want to say this, I see that I'm more and more like my dad, or more and more like my mom, etc.
They always say the person you hate is the more of like who you are. You are going to be that person.
And they always say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but
Right.
and we're
Pick
always
that
trying
shit
to
up.
Yeah, come that shit.
But you know, I don't know. I don't think that we should let that define who we are if you're raised in a bad family setting. But again, you just have to be conscious of yourself and what you're doing, and I feel like a lot
That's
of people.
really hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because not a lot of people know. Not a lot of people know how to self-reflect, and not a lot of people like to admit their wrongdoings. And I don't know, it's just hard on people to admit that shit.
Everyone's a bad guy in someone else's story. So you just got to realize that at one point you were a bad guy in someone else's story. But everyone always tells their own story like they're the hero, you know? Like, I don't know.
And I don't like that. I don't know. There's always good and bad in everybody. It's not, one person just gonna have a story where they're gonna make themselves look so good. Yeah, I don't like that.
All right, we're coming to a close, guys. If you like this podcast, like and subscribe to our channel.
Follow us on Instagram.
We'll be talking more about Hmong society or just random stuff. So
Please comment and comment on what you want us to talk about next, what topics you are interested in, and we will go ahead and set it up for next time.
All right, I am Zhang. Shika.
Valmy.
This is Peter dropping out.
Ali.
Peter.
All right, and it's in our podcast.
Oh, your name was
Bye.
Peter.